Welcome to Courage on the Rocks, a space where stories flow like a good glass of whiskey. We're two best friends pulling back the curtain on all the conversations that usually happen behind closed doors.
From grief and love to dating, friendship, motherhood, and all the chaos of life in your 30s. We're diving into it all with honesty, humor, and a splash of courage.
This podcast is about real stories, ours, yours, and the incredible people we'll meet along the way. Whether you're here for inspiration, a fresh perspective, or just to hear from someone who gets it, we're glad you're with us.
So grab your favorite drink, hit play, and join us as we navigate the highs, the lows, and everything in between, one episode at a time.
Yeah, I have a bunch of...
Okay, and then we're just gonna do this.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Thank you.
We're like, gonna make sure. Yeah, we don't need to pull that. We're good. Now we're ready. You know, we miscounted. This is how I know we're not doing episode counting anymore because we miscounted. The last one was, let me change this because I think it's crooked. Right? Just all these little things. Okay. Let's try this again.
Welcome to Courage on the Rock.
Yay! Episode 15.
And
You're mic'd.
Okay.
Yeah, we're mic'd. We're mic'd. 15. The last time we said it was 13. It was actually 14. Because I was just uploading it. So we're on 15 now. So 15.
We may be educators, but we're going to stop counting.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, 15 crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I know. Excited.
Yeah.
I know, it's kind of crazy, like 15 topics, conversations.
Yeah, it makes me think of like just the whole year. We've only been doing it since March.
Yeah.
It's a lot of talking.
But we brainstormed and talked about it since I think January. So
That's true.
I think I'm working. All right. Today's drink is inspired by Parker.
He's very healthy.
Yes. And we like that. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
No, I've heard about these, and a friend of mine was talking about Poppy as well. And then I saw you guys drink your prebiotic. Mm-hmm. I was at the store. I was like, you know what? We've been drinking whiskey for a couple of episodes now. So now we're going to do something.
Yeah, we're kind of leaning into the healthy. No, I'm just kidding. We're always pretty healthy.
Yeah, we are.
But Parker's like very, very healthy. Yeah. Which I actually love.
Yeah.
And so we wanted like special drinks. Mm-hmm. And so we grabbed like some, I'm going to call this fake soda, bougie soda.
It's prebiotic healthy soda.
Yeah.
And then there's that ASMR, like get closer, right?
Yeah.
You have to have nails. We did this last time too. She had no nails to make this ASMR.
I don't want nails, but I can still...
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. Somebody tell her it's not. Okay, here. Ready?
Oh,
that was so good. Perfect. Cheers.
Way better than mine.
Right?
Okay.
That's strawberry lemony.
With the little plants in there.
Earthly tones of dirt.
That is something. Yeah. Parker, his sister had gone to Japan, and so last night we were trying.
Pause.
Leo had to intervene. He's like, Mommy, I need to tell you something. Anyways, we were trying candy last night from Japan. They had these sour ones that were red, and it looked like there was a berry, and we're like, oh, this is going to be good. Really, really sour for like the first 5 seconds. Super good. Then it just tasted like a plant stuck in the dirt. Like it was, I never tasted something like that before, but it was so earthy. And not meant as like healthy earthy. It was
just earth.
Earth, dirt.
Just go out
it was gross.
And grab dirt and put it in your mouth.
It was super gross, yeah. Yeah. But this is not bad. Like I feel like you have to get used to it. Yeah. And then it becomes like, oh, it was really nice.
Yeah, and definitely a lot healthier probably for us than regular soda.
Yeah.
But it's not like we drink soda a lot to begin with.
I don't know. I feel like you just put like a stick of fresh thyme in there. That's what's happening right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Thyme? No.
Some kind of just go out to the garden, grab a piece of her herb, and then pop that in there, and that's pretty equivalent to me.
Okay, but what I do want to, here's it, like root, fiber, cane sugar, apple cider vinegar.
It's the root.
It's the root for us.
That's the dirt.
You know, okay.
It's like jicama.
Oh,
it's
I love jicama.
Dirt. It's fresh dirt, freshwater dirt.
Freshwater dirt. It's delicious.
Like
Dip it in hummus.
On you, though.
It's so good. It's like water chestnut. That tastes like nothing. It's similar to it, but when you add like hummus to it or something, it's really good. But what I want to know, people, please put this in the comment. What is the difference between prebiotic and probiotic? Is that like before and after?
Pre, yeah.
And what's after? Okay.
If we're gonna go off of that,
right?
I think so. I think they do different things.
But yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, what do they do health-wise?
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. Today we're gonna do something kind of fun. Yeah. If y'all are on social media, there's a cool little trend. We decided to like hop on that bandwagon.
Oh yeah. If we're gonna do anything, it would be one where asking us deep questions and thoughtful things, and that's our jam.
Yeah. So this one, we are actually going with the trends, propaganda
that we no longer ascribe to.
Yeah, that we no longer
follow through.
To.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is like societal propaganda, things that culture has just always told us.
Yeah.
And now we're saying bullshit to it.
Yeah.
SHIT on that one.
Yeah. We thought it would be fun to share a couple of things. We were both doing our research on reflecting on our life and propagandas and things that like it's instilled in us growing up and like what we have been trying to follow through. And I think this past 2 years we were like, no, this is not how our life is going to be, and something needs to change. So when I saw that reel, I was like, this is us right now. This is like we're manifesting this idea that like we don't care about what society thinks, and like it's so hard to take it out of us, but also like I think if we shine a light on it, like it just gives people time to reflect on it. Yeah,
shining a light on it, reflecting on it, but also like it's really hard to take out of you. So it's like, do I have that in me? And like start pulling like on those threads. Yeah. Because like you have to unlearn and like slowly unpack that out, but then like learn differently. Yeah, and I think if we continue to work on this idea for ourselves, it will make us much better parents for our future kids, realizing like we don't need to give them that same pressure that we may have been ascribed to, and like reflecting on like that's not, that's not how we're going to raise our kids, or that's not what, I'm not going to put that society pressure on them as well. Ooh, generational.
Yeah.
Don't even get us started on that. The generational things that we have to really unlearn.
Break apart, break down.
So Leo and I both have a list. We do not know what's on each other's list. Yeah. I'm actually like excited. I feel like we live like obviously similar lives, but we also have very different lives. Oh yeah. That just happen to like go really well together. So I'm curious to see what like your list is going to be like versus mine. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. And we hope that like this gives you an opportunity to really reflect on not only like what we're talking about, but also like them to start creating their own list.
Yeah, make your own list.
Make your own list. Really reflect on like your childhood growth. What was it like being raised with your parents, and what did you ascribe in your life?
You really went into childhood, didn't you? I did not. I'm like, wait, am I on the right podcast?
It's huge. It's a huge part of it, I think, and I like that was really big in my life.
It is. I mean, that's how you're raised. You grow up thinking certain ways.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go to college, and college changes your perspective in your mind. And then you blend families together, and then you bring in other cultures and other people into their lives. So like, start making your list and really reflect on like. Reflect on that in your life.
What's funny is like, so we're gonna go and share our list. Yeah. And it's funny because when I first started this list, there was one in my head that I'm like, immediately went to. Yeah. And it was so stupid compared to the things I'm actually gonna talk about. Oh. So the first one in my head was like, hydro flasks. Fuck those things. I'm not subscribing to those.
Yeah.
You know, like
and
everyone's
Stanley's.
gonna have them. Stanley, yes, Stanley's. Oh my God, that's really what it is. It's Stanley's.
Yeah, that's capitalism and consumerism.
Its finest,
yeah.
right? But that's really not what we're going to talk about.
No. I mean, that is a fun one to start with. Because it just reflects, I think, like, even when I was little, like junior high school, Hollister and Abercrombie, and like, you had to have the logo, you have to have name brand stuff. Yeah. So, like, that's still part of our life. Like, do I have a Stanley? Yes, I do.
Oh, I don't.
I know.
I mean, I really don't subscribe to the propaganda.
I do.
But I can never get myself to do that.
I was gifted one. So I didn't go out and spend the money, but I was gifted one. I appreciate it. But I agree. Cool. There are other companies and brands that are just as high quality, if not better, when it comes to like keeping things cold. But it's just not influencer. Right. You know, it's not TikTok approved.
I'm also very pro like thrifting.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
You and I do that a lot too. Yeah. She found the most expensive jacket probably for winter thing. I mean, like, it was over $400 on the market.
It was in the men's section, but I was able to snag it.
It was a size small. It was smaller.
It was like it was a Columbia Omni-Heat.
Yeah. It was like one of those triple layer things where like it comes with an inside jacket, zipped up with another jacket, zipped up with an outside one. I was just like, I was just like, whoa, no, you have to get that.
I'm like, okay, let's go backpacking in Yosemite.
In the winter now.
Winter.
Yeah, deep snow. Yeah. So we are into thrifting stuff.
Okay, but we're really here to talk about the deep stuff.
The deep stuff. The serious, the deep stuff. Okay. So that was a fun one to begin with.
Do you want to go first?
I can.
Okay.
Talking about social media. So the first one I looked up was social media is a reflection of reality. That's such a propaganda.
Okay.
And I did that because social media is such a curated place. Yeah. You know, it's very performative. It's very disconnected from what humans are actually experiencing from their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, it's only the best.
Yeah. Only like whatever is optimal, whatever I look best in, whatever will get the most the most views. And I think for us, when we started this, we kind of had that mindset a little bit, like
the first week
we're like, well, we want to see how many people will listen and follow and stuff like that.
Yeah, you were really looking at the numbers.
Yeah, the data.
And I hated it. And at like the end of week 1, my anxiety was through the roof. I was like, nope, we're not looking at the numbers anymore. We don't. And it's been so peaceful to not care, but also like the only number I look at is like our Instagram follower, and it's not like, oh, I wish we had thousands. It's like, oh, we got one.
Yeah, and it was like we surpassed 100.
Yeah, we're at 110.
Yeah,
right? Which like it's small, but also like whoa, like that's also not at the same.
It's like 110 accounts, and it's not those bot ones or like,
they're like really
real
it's
people.
You guys, you're real people who are like 110 of you are like, we're going to support these girls. Yeah,
and it's like real accounts, real people behind their accounts that we know that's changed our lives or that have impacted us in some way. Like Shimu Mountain and Amanda and like all these other people coming in, friends and colleagues. So it's like 110 real people, real accounts. So we appreciate you. But yes, going back to social media is a reflection of reality. That is BS. It is not.
It's not. It is BS.
It is. Also, like, if anyone's have Hulu, have you ever seen the show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives or Mormon Lives?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, you have to. I'm on it right now. It's one of those like it's a whole mom talk thing. Oh. Mormon wives and mom talk and just like all this curated lifestyle on Instagram. Or on TikTok. But what was interesting is like this reminded me of them. It's like that cannot be their reality. Like, and no knocks to them, but it's like that if that's how they live their life, that's how they live their life. But that's not reality. You know?
Reality is really messy and pretty ugly and beautiful. Yeah. Simultaneously. Yeah.
So, right. Yeah. So it's just really interesting watching that and unfolding it on social media and how people subscribe to them, try to become them, want to be them, you know, like.
Yeah. And then like so many people need to like step away from social media. Like so many people during Lent are like, I'm going to stop social media, right? And you do it for X amount of days and you kind of go back into it. But there's so much like comparison with it that doesn't need to happen. Yeah. You know?
I agree. Okay. All right, your turn.
All right.
Propaganda.
Propaganda. 30 is too old to have kids.
Oh my gosh. I hope that's not true because I'm 31.
Right?
I know that's not true.
It's not.
It's not true.
You're 31. I'm
No.
30. I want more.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was telling Liana this funny story that I went to go see my lawyer for my trust, and I was making changes, and it just so happens that my lawyer is the dad to one of our old close friends from college.
Yeah.
And he was saying how she had just gotten married, and that he was really hoping that they were going to have a kid soon. And I was like, oh, give them time. You know, newlyweds, like, let them be newlyweds, you know? He's like, oh, I hope not. She's 30. Like, she's really pushing it for kids.
Oh my God.
And I'm sitting there like, I was like, wait a second. No, I'm 30. Wait, that was so offensive. Like, how dare you say that? I was like, we're not old.
No.
Our reproductive systems are just fine.
Yeah. It's interesting because even in science and biology, they talked about that. I think I read somewhere they were saying how like 35 is considered to be geriatric pregnancy. And that name alone, when someone says geriatric, I think I'm 95 and like my knees are crippling, you know? Yeah. And I'm like 35 and geriatric pregnancy?
Think that term is used way too loosely.
Yes.
I'm honest. On my second day with Parker, we were literally sitting at a restaurant. And I asked the waiter, like, oh, is this really spicy? And he's like, oh, no. Like, it should be okay. I was like, oh, I can't really have spicy things, though. And he's like, oh, don't worry. We have a lot of geriatrics here come through here. So they're just fine with it. You'll be okay, too. And I was like, did you just compare me? Like, I just sat there. Parker just staring at me like, oh, my God.
He just used that word against you.
I wanted, if I could kill with my eyes, he would have.
There's your laser again.
Down on the floor. It's used
so
way
offensive.
too loosely, but don't. It's offensive.
Yeah. Do not use that on me. I feel healthy and empowered.
Incredibly. I'm more healthy.
No, you will have more kids. And you're 30.
Yeah,
so
30s,
yeah.
I think we both will.
Yes. It's in our future. All right. Next one. I said, talking about 30s, you should have it all figured out before your 30s.
Do you ever?
That is bullshit. Okay, so, and I put that down because growing up, I had this mentality of like many people do. You're supposed to be growing up and going to high school, get good grades so you can get into a good college. Once you get to college, get your degree. You find someone in college that you're going to build your life with during that college time. Then you get together, have married, have babies, buy a house. Like all of this before you're 30.
I didn't.
And then look what happened. Okay, I'm her best friend, so I can say that to her.
Your husband died.
So there we go. The end.
Yeah, seriously. And then look what happened.
And then life happens.
You freaking have it all together, and then life happens, and
we talked about that before. How we're two very opposite. I had that growing up in my life and watching other people and witnessing it, and then like it just life fucking happens, and then here I am in my 30s having my shit together, and then living this life that I've been like trying to have for so long.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's interesting. It's also really perspective that life is not linear.
Yes.
You know, it is not this one-way path because I was privileged in this lifestyle and what I did with my life, so now it has to be this way. Yeah. No, like that's not how it goes.
Which also is like another propaganda. Life is linear. It's not. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also proof that like it's ever growing.
Yeah.
You know, our 30s are going to be so different than our 40s, and it's supposed to be that.
And it goes like this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right? I'm hoping more of just like steadily, like I just a calm seas. Right? Like I want to fucking blow it up again. Joking.
Being dramatic for her life, not dramatic for my life.
Right?
Okay. My second one of propaganda that we're not subscribing to is that you need to be healed to be in a healthy relationship.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? Like, I'm not put together yet.
Yeah.
I need to wait. Or no one's going to love me or want to be with me because I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I think if it's, you don't need to be healed, right? There's no healed anyways. That's
what
like,
does healed look
healed,
like?
Done, good, hello. No.
The rest of my life.
Non-existent,
No.
right?
Yeah.
But I think you need to be working towards healing, right? Mm-hmm. We all have things we're working on. Yeah. That's called the baggage that we bring into a relationship. Everyone has it. If you think you don't, reassess. Yes. Right? It's always there. Yeah. But are you doing anything with that to help unpack? Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting because we do talk about like there's a balance of both. You know, life is a balance of like you have grief and sadness, but there's beauty and love and passion still riding along on the side with it. And it's the same thing. Like you don't need to be all put together in order for someone to come into your life like that. And
like that's love though. Yeah. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. Yeah. That's the point, right? Yeah. It's not conditional love, right? Yes. It shouldn't be. That's how a lot of people are. But it's unconditional for a reason. Yeah. Right? And a lot of people will feel that when they have their child. Yeah. Right? You have a toddler there. That's unconditional love regardless of the amount of times I want to pull my hair out or I feel like I'm going insane because of tantrums or, X, Y, and Z, right? Yeah. But if you are going into a relationship and, loving someone, it's, I only love you if you're not dealing with this. Yeah.
Or like the idea of like, I only deserve to be loved if I have this image together. Like if I look a certain way, if I have my professional life at a certain level, or if I have my shit together.
This much money.
Then love will come into my life. It's like, no.
Yeah, it's a process of loving yourself first. Like, love yourself for the ups, the downs, the struggles you have, the things you thrive in, right? Know yourself well enough. Constantly work on becoming a better version every day. Yeah. And then if you love yourself, someone's going to come there and love you. People are going to love you regardless if you love yourself. Yeah. So I feel like that's really step one. Yeah. Of feeling whole. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that one. Okay. All right. My next one. Oh, this one is because I am into like political, little bit tap into like political things. I just wanted to see this one. It was an us versus them mentality. Growing pushback against diverse fear-based narratives that pit people against each other for gains. And I think so currently in this society, and at least in the United States, there's this like pitting against like Democrat versus Republican. And I hate that mentality of it because like at the end of the day, there's qualities of both of them that I subscribe to, and I passionately appreciate that our views are not always 100% aligned. Yeah. I may have certain beliefs about one, but I'm going to also have beliefs about the other. And I feel like it's so much more growth in me when I could sit and talk to someone else about it. Like, oh, tell me your views. Like, let me better understand it. And I feel right now there's this whole divide between us and them, us and them, and it's just so toxic.
Did you vote for Trump? Did you not vote for Trump? Yeah. Right, here's this box. There's 2 boxes here. Yes. Where did you go? If you don't align in the box I'm sitting in, then I don't like you. Yeah. Or I don't believe in what you believe. You don't have the values that I have, right? Yeah. But like, if you talk to someone who say voted differently, right? Yeah. Like, I realize that like I'm in both boxes. Yeah. Right? Like, it just sucks that like it isn't us versus them mentality. Yeah. That is a propaganda that would be very helpful for people. Yeah. To not do that with.
To not do that. Yeah. And I think it's just really important to understand like there's not, when it comes to, it's not an end all be all situation. It's like, okay, you didn't vote for him, so you are no longer like a part of my life or something like that. Like that's
or you did and now you're no longer.
Yeah, right? And you did. So oh my gosh,
we need one or the other. It's not needed.
No, it's not. And at the end of the day, it's like what's best for us and our community and the people who are important in our lives. And I hate this conversation that just separates it all. Yeah,
like it does feel separated.
It does, doesn't it? I feel like it gives that stigma of like, did you vote for him? Did you not? Like, that's not the conversation. Yeah. That's not the point of this. Yeah. So
the conversation is for there to be a conversation. Yeah. Right.
From like the minute someone knows one thing about you, like are you? It's shut down. They're like, oh, you're Democratic. You're too liberal, or like this. Like no. not all the time.
Yeah.
You know, or
and I've done that in the past. Not like, okay, you're done, but like when I was dating, I was like seeing that a little bit, and I'm really glad that like I'm at a point where like I do agree with you that it needs to be a conversation. It doesn't need to be black and white. Because the conversations you do have with those people are incredibly enlightening.
Yes.
Right? They force you to think in ways that like you have not thought of, you know, and it's important.
Yeah, and the impact that the government's making is having reflected differently on different people in their lives because their walk of life is so different than mine. Yeah. You know, like, and they can't understand, I can't understand them unless I have the conversation, unless you're willing to sit down and like really open my mind about it. You know, or
like,
be willing to listen. Be open to
opening
listen.
your mind.
Yeah, to listen and like not critique or jump at them.
And not like they start talking and you're like, oh, I have my plan of attack already. I know how to prove them wrong. And just sitting with that, it's like, have that conversation.
Yeah, be willing to. Yeah. So no more us first them.
That's a good one. Okay. My other one is feeling burnt out is just a part of motherhood. Oh. And it kind of goes in line with the other one of like, good moms do it all on their own.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like
tell us more about that one.
Well, I think it's like, you're going to be burnt out, yes, but it like takes away from the fact that like, I think you're, like for me in my own experience, like if you're burnt out consistently every single day, so you're not getting enough help, right? You don't go into this, it's not a one-way thing, right? In most situations, right? But like, you shouldn't feel ashamed for asking for help. Yeah. And even though I think I'm very liberated, right? I still feel constant shame for asking for help, right?
And that's so sad.
It's super sad. It's super sad.
It's so shaming, like, that you would feel that from... You're asking people in your own community, in your own circle, and you get that vibe from them. I know,
but it's usually placed on myself. So I'll get it from like some people, but then I won't ask, right? Yeah. But it's if I do ask, am I asking too much, right?
Yeah.
Or,
yeah, I know, because I know you do that because when you ask something from me about like Leo or something, you're like, do you have the bandwidth for it? Yeah. And I was like, okay, I understand why you're asking me that question, but also like, I mean, I'm your best friend. It's not that big of a deal. You know? I'm like, but I get
like,
it.
Oh, it's all my responsibility. Exactly. Like, I made this choice. I'm going to bear the beautifuless that comes with it, but all the burden. But it's like, I also need to breathe, right? So not feeling like I have to do it all. I can ask for help. And I think that needs to be normalized as something that's totally okay. Yes, please ask for help. I've been waiting this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also it really shows when people in your community, in your life shows up. Yeah. By giving them that chance. Because you never really know. Because you're going to continue to keep saying like, oh, they're going to be this, they're going to say this, they're going to think this. Unless you give them the opportunity. Yeah. If they give you the opportunity and they really, you know, F it up, then you're like, well, no, we're not going to ask that again. But if you're given the opportunity and they show up and they prove it, like that one time when Leo came here and stayed the night and beautiful night, just like seamlessly went really well. And look how well that went. You know, I think it gave you a little bit more clarity and confidence and like, just like, okay, it helped you. Yeah. So give them a chance. I like that one. That was a good one. Motherhood. Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on the burnout culture for that one. Okay. Mine was, you need to be constantly improving yourself.
Ooh, okay, hold on. I need to take away my courage.
Okay,
I'm going to sit here and listen.
Yes. Be open to listening because I put a little description for it. There's a growing movement toward valuing self-worth beyond output, especially in the face of burnout culture. So the way I take this is that your body's never resting. You're constantly improving, trying to improve, trying to move that like finish line, keep going mentality. Yeah. And I don't think that is always the healthiest. And I like you and I have had a conversation of, you need those rest days. You need those days in which your body, it's literally doing nothing. Staying at home, self-care, taking yourself, quiet moments, pausing and really sitting in with what's happening in your life right now. Because I feel like the need to be constantly improving goes to like career-wise. You know, like, oh, I need that promotion. Oh, I need this next job. If I do this for my principal, then I can get X, Y, and Z. It's like constantly adding to it, thinking you're going to keep going higher, higher, higher. But like, for me, I'm realizing now that I'm pretty much deep into my career of like just enjoying these moments, these years as a teacher, as an educator, like thriving on that, understanding my boundaries, and just learning to live with the life that I'm creating right now.
Yeah, it's the process of slowing down, being present, right? Like I feel like how you're explaining this is a lot of like how we are so focused as a culture on productivity.
Yes.
And my worth
output
is equal to my output. And if I don't have an output, therefore I was lazy today. I didn't do anything important. I'm fucking worthless, right?
Yeah, you're devaluing
you're
yourself.
Devaluing yourself because you didn't
do these
put
things,
anything out into the world, XYZ, right?
Yeah.
Although on the other end, I'd also argue that resting and being present, staying still, that also is a form of improving.
Yeah.
Because it's improving your life, your well-being.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So like that's improving in my head is knowing when to do the output, at what extent to do the output.
Yeah.
And if the output is affecting your body, your mind, your soul, your relationships, know when to pull back.
Yeah.
You know, and going slower and being more present and having an awareness around you and your relationships and your body and all of that. That's also improving.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we were just having this conversation of like, we haven't been climbing for a while.
Yeah.
And it's not because we don't love it. It's not because we don't miss it. It's because we're in a season right now, and it's a season.
It's a season.
It has a start and an end.
Yeah.
But we're in a season where we just needed to pull back a little bit and focus and prioritize other things.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Doesn't mean we're not improving.
Yeah.
Right? We just know where to place our energy because there's the concept of like, oh, you have to have balance. Live the balanced life. That's another propaganda bullshit, right?
Yeah.
There's no balance, actually, right? It's not equal. We're not all equal.
Yeah, it's not 50% here and 50% here.
No. It's very unbalanced.
Yeah.
But you have to pick and choose the timing in which you devote, you know, yourself to it.
Yeah.
You know?
I like what you were talking about. Like, we did talk about rock climbing is our season right now. We're not really into that season because there's so many things happening in our life right now in the month of May that we just needed our attention, needed our energy because we understand what's coming in the months ahead. And we needed to prioritize certain things this month in order to realize that like these next couple of months afterwards is a nonstop for us until we get until we hit we hit like the end of August. I think we're finally gonna breathe. So
it's reprioritization.
You know? Exactly. But it doesn't mean that we are not willing to take those trips. So if any of our rock climbing friends are listening,
please do not think that we don't want to be there.
We do.
Right?
We would love still the invitation.
We want.
Yes. Call us.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, my next one.
Yes.
Is that you should feel ashamed for being on an antidepressant. So I feel like culture is like, right? It's like if there's something wrong with your body, right? You break an arm, go get a cast, right? You're diabetic, go get your insulin, right? But the moment that your brain is struggling, right? There is an imbalance there. It's, you're crazy, or, right? It's all these shameful stigmatizations that are placed onto this person. And so then people don't go and ask for help. Right? And if they do, they feel ashamed of that. When the reality is like, there's an imbalance. You can correct that imbalance. You can live a beautiful, full, healthy life. And you don't have to feel ashamed about that.
Yeah. What a stigma about it. Yeah. Cause I understand like many other people in my life right now are on the antidepressant because like a broken arm, it needs time to heal. It needs to fix. And that medicine is what's doing it. It's giving you the time to heal. Your brain is like, I need help.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
it is the most powerful thing.
It is. It literally controls everything else. Hormone output, body growth, development. I mean, it's just like if your brain is not rested or is not like getting the help it needs, like your entire body feels it. And you and I have had this conversation, like when our emotions or hormones are off, like we break out, we feel so much more bloated on certain weeks. And it's just like we feel icky and self-loathing of ourselves. Like, you know, how are we supposed to get out of the house when we feel like this? And you need medicine to help you with that. Like we have medicine to help every other aspect of it.
Cold. You have a silly little cold.
Yeah, right? And Tylenol. And
can't get out of a bed for cold. A cold, oh dear, let us help you, right?
No, flu? Oh,
can't get out of bed for depression.
Depression?
Right?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right?
What's wrong with you as a person now? What's going on with your body?
Yeah.
How can we fix this?
Yeah.
They're two different things. That gave me chills, right?
Yeah.
It's not you as a person.
Yeah.
It's your body.
Yeah.
Right? And all bodies are so weird and unique and my body does not function the way it's supposed to. That's been my whole experience in my life, right?
Yeah.
You know, everybody's is so different. So like there shouldn't be shame around asking for help, getting help, staying on an antidepressant if you need it, right?
Oh, yeah. And I think the two really big things that like I have heard a lot of stories about when it comes to having medicine to help heal the brain, postpartum, after having a baby, like your body, and if you have ever experienced it and you know of it, you know your body just went through hell, you know, and your body's like, oh, now we created this for 9 months and now it's out in the world,
and it makes physical changes to your brain. Like it literally wires it. It makes changes.
And then the other classification of people who take medicine, who huge stigma of it, is military people. You know, when people coming back, like, okay, they didn't damage their physical body of it, but they have severe PTSD in their brains. You know, like they need that medicine. They need to take care of themselves. So like, just so much stigma against, and I don't understand why. It's just people trying to heal themselves. Like, I'll take it all. If it's going to make you a better person, citizen, healthier, happier life, then like, do it. For the improvement and betterment of your kids, for your relationships, for you yourself, like, take it. So that's a good one. All right. My last one is really interesting because I think for a while I was like, oh yeah, I get it. But now I'm like, no, I don't get it. This one is positive vibes only. Okay, and here's the description for it, because here's clarity for talking about how people are pushing back against toxic positivity and acknowledging the value of complex emotion and discomfort and growth. You know, where people feel very awkward when it's something is negative's happening, or negative conversation, or taboo conversations to have, like, oh, that's not table talk, or oh, we don't really talk about, oh, you know, PTSD and trauma and things, we don't talk about that. You know, like
that's why grief is behind closed doors.
Yes, and like how positive vibes is not always the best thing for people. Sometimes people, like you and I have talked about, we need someone to sit in the shit with us. You know, even for a moment, for a season, we need someone there, and we need to understand, like, it's okay to put yourself through that, because that's the only way you're going to climb back up. You know, understanding that depth.
It really
is. To grow.
And not everyone's going to sit with you in that, but it's also like this, it is a culture of like, oh, that was so cringe. Right? Like that's the word these days. That was so cringe, but it's like also, okay, where's the human piece to this?
Like, humanity.
Like we're really complex. It's the whole, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good. Versus.
And then walking away.
Right, and then walking away. Versus, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm having a hard time. My husband passed away 2 years ago.
And then the other person's like, oh, that's awkward.
And then they like, and then, what, you want me to keep going? Right?
Do you want to sit and listen on this one?
I cried for about 20 minutes before I got out of the car. My anxiety is pretty high. And I could really use a hug.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
You're not going to do that, but also, like, we don't give space for people to actually share how they're doing, right? I mean, that was an extreme example. For most people, that's my life. But like, hey, I'm good doesn't have to be, hey, I'm good.
But what if you actually did that? for the people
would shit their pants.
No, but seriously, like, I feel like that would be really, because I feel like you've done so much healing yourself, just to like fuck them up a little bit.
If you're
How you doing?
me,
Yeah.
Hey,
How you doing?
You really want to know? Actually, take a seat.
Right. Today I just cried for 20 minutes because I was really depressed. Okay. Have a good day. I'd be interested to see who actually shows up into that conversation and be like, how do they receive and, how receptive they are about it.
Well, but also it's like you tend to know, like, I could go and I can do that to my boss, right? Like, she had called me the other day. It was like Jorge's 2-year, and I posted something on Instagram, and she later was like, called me, and she's like, oh, I owe you a hug, like, and like all this. But it's like, some people are gonna be like that, some aren't. Yeah. But like, say you post something, right? And it's something vulnerable. Yeah. Society as a whole tends to be like, oh, that was really cringe. Or some people are like, I can't believe she did that. Yeah. Next.
Negative about it. Yeah.
Right? It's such this. Yeah. The risk of being vulnerable is the risk of being cringe. Yeah. But also the risk of, wow, that I felt something there. Yeah. It was like, worth it. Oh, I learned something. That was
grew from it.
Something you grew, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good.
Wow. That was your last one?
Yeah, 5. Do you have one more?
Oh, God, I know I have like 3 more. 4 more.
4 more.
Problem. Okay.
Okay, you get 2.
Like rapid fire. No.
You're going to do it?
No. This goes into one of mine, actually.
Okay.
Which is you need to make yourself small to fit in a space that's not meant for you. Right? Whereas,
that's a hard one.
I'm not shrinking right now. I have 4 more. I'm going to say my 4. Right? But it's like you are expected to make yourself smaller in a lot of spaces that you go into versus spaces being like accepting of how big you can become. Oh, yeah. Right? Yep. We all do that.
Absolutely. And especially if, like, as a female as well. Like in a certain role, it's a very male dominant role, and don't get me wrong, there's definitely some things, like, I love it when Chris does that. That is his space, that is his domain.
We love masculinity.
We do. We
really,
might need
to learn how to redefine that in this generation. But.
Yes, we appreciate masculinity. However, there's some spaces when it comes to like making laws and changes and government and things like that. Like, change will only happen if we're given the space.
Yes.
So like put us in the places where change happens. I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Not even just given. Sometimes it's given the space. Sometimes you need to take that space.
Take the space. Yeah.
Right.
Take that space.
And I come from this, like, from a grief approach of like, I could remain small and not heal to the extent I've healed and make so many of the choices that I've made, right? I could have chosen not to rock climb, not to box. I could have chosen not to go to therapy 24/7, not to do a podcast that is so public. Why would I do such a public broadcast podcast on something so vulnerable and intimate? Yeah. There's a whole generation where that's not cool.
I have to interject for a little bit about that one, though. I was recently talking to Chris and your dad, talking about how they were listening to the podcast, right? And how it really clicked for me how, because you have the courage to do this, they have a better understanding of what you were going through. Yeah. And she was talking about how it's just, she seems to know you a little bit better and a little bit more now that she's listening through it and like really taking in what you were doing, like how far you've come. And I feel like that's amazing because those relationships in our lives will always be in our life. But if they have just a little understanding of where we were coming from, it's huge.
I completely agree with that. I think there's this learning process for me because I'm very closed off and can be very closed off unless I feel 100% safe with you, right? Otherwise, it's, I'm doing good, right? Yeah. Oh, it's good today. Yeah. And then one more sentence. And I really struggle with that. Yeah. But being able to do like a podcast like this, I feel safe. I'm with someone who makes me incredibly safe. Probably the just with you and your presence is one of the safest places for me, which is what makes this possible. Yes, right? Yeah. And like I'm able to share and open up and talk about these really hard things that happen behind closed doors, but like the benefit to the people listening is the understanding of the complexity and the growth that not just I had, but like they have growth. You guys have growth by listening to it.
Yeah.
Right?
And accepting it. And like
perspective.
Yeah. And like taking in, listening to what we're saying and being reflective on it. So yeah.
Okay,
Go on.
I'll just do one more.
Oh, okay.
And this one is that you only have one soulmate.
We're going to end with this one?
I used to subscribe to that.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah. Tell us more.
Yeah, like when I was with Jorge, I was like, oh, soulmate. Like you couldn't make me question any of it at all, you know. And then after he passed, I was introduced to this book called, it's not the full book, I'm going to need to get the title, but it's like The Little Soul, right? And it talks about souls, but like my understanding of soulmates now is like, I strongly believe 100% like Jorge was my soulmate, but he was my soulmate up to the point in which he passed, right? His purpose was for his soul and my soul to meet, and we had a purpose there together, and it was so important, right?
And created Leo.
And we created Leo, and what he did to me in my life, and what
at that time
in my life, and what I was able to do for him, and vice versa, right? At that time, it was exactly what I believe God needed for me, right? And for him, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like God chose me to give him the experience of what a good marriage, a wife, give him a child, right?
Yeah.
Like I was chosen for that, right?
Yeah.
And now moving on, like I know that like I 100% have a soulmate out there, right? We all have, our souls all have little purposes, right? And then we eventually, you know, align with each other and find each other and give each other what's needed for a duration of time, right? We think, oh, it's our one person whole life. No, what a freaking beautiful luxury, but also like, why would it just end there? Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Yeah. And I'm gonna add on to it. It's not only soulmate, like personal relationship. Yeah. Our friendship soulmate. I genuinely believe we are friendship soulmate.
100%.
Like we in our next life and in heaven we will find each other again. Yes. Like we are meant to find each other again because like you don't go through the things and the conversation that we have had, and I know like in the future other shit's gonna happen in our life, and we know like at the end of the day our friendship is so strong, and it's like
crazy. It blows my mind.
I'm just like what we're meant to be together. You know, like that friendship is just as valuable as romantic partner friendship. 100%. So
we're all working in this life together. For each other, right? Not everyone is for each other. But it's really beautiful. It's also this perspective of like, in that book it talks about like someone coming, you know, like basically it's two angels, and one angel's like, oh, I really want to know what it's like to live and like know my purpose and know that and feel that, and then God's like, okay, but like it comes with consequences, right? But the angel's like, but I really want to feel it. And so then he's asked another angel, his angel friend, he's like, can you please, I want to learn forgiveness. Can you teach me forgiveness? And then the angel's like, I can, but you're not going to remember me on the other side. And he's like, but I really need to feel this. And he's like, okay, just remember, like, I am still me. Like, I am still an angel. But I have to do this thing so you can feel this thing. So you can understand forgiveness. Right? So you can understand unconditional love. Right? All these things that were like, oh, that was so hard for me. The pain, the magnitude, right? But then it's like, it's the part of like, I'm still good inside, right? You can't know this without this. Right? And so I find that really beautiful, because it kind of twists that too of like, our souls, I had to go through something horrible to experience a life that I really, really value and I am so in love with, and have learned a lot from. But like people and things had to make choices, bad choices, or do all of these things that affected me. But like, wow, the version I am now is so thankful for those moments too. Right? So it's just so complex.
It is. I like that. I think that's a beautiful wrap to the whole idea that like we are living our life
Yeah.
as organically and as true to ourselves, and that we are finding our soulmates. We are finding people, and people have come into our lives at a certain period of time and seasons, and like that's all we can ask for, you know, like walking together in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. I like that one.
Oh, so cheesy. What a cheesy.
But we love it.
I know.
We love it. It's how we grow. So
Soulmates. Cheers to soulmate.
cheers to soulmate, friend.
BFFs.
BFF. Cheers. Thanks for tuning into Courage on the Rocks.
Until next time, hold on to your courage and we'll see you soon. Cheers!